And this president of surprises surprised again. But the early word came from the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Rich Edson covers the State Department for us and is live there tonight. Rich?
Well, good evening, Shep, or good morning, Shep. And as the Secretary of State had said earlier today, it was a matter of holding the Assad regime accountable and also holding Russia accountable. The rhetoric and the language that the Secretary of State has been using has become much more aggressive over the past week when it comes to both sides of this. And here's something interesting that the Secretary said towards the end of his remarks this evening. He said, "You should not in any way extrapolate that the airstrikes changed our policy or posture on Syria in any way." There's a lot of questions as to how that could possibly be, since the United States this evening has just decided to strike the Assad regime in a way that it has not done so before. Now, if you look at what the Secretary had said earlier today, he says that basically it had gotten to the point where the Assad regime had been using chemical weapons, it had not gotten a response from the international community, and therefore had normalized that use, and the Trump administration wanted to put a stop to that. That's one track. On the other side, there's the solution in Syria, and that's very much, at least when you talk to State Department officials and administration officials, continuing to be consistent in that the U.S. wants to engage with the UN, with international partners to try to find a solution. There were what is known as Geneva talks, UN discussions that were ongoing in Geneva to try to find a way to settle what's been going on for several years now in Syria, stabilize, defeat ISIS, and then begin to work with local leaders to further stabilize the area and potentially sometime down the road start to move some refugees back. There is an indication still that the United States, with Secretary Rex Tillerson, is going to try to work with Russia on potentially a solution here. As early as late as this afternoon, senior State Department officials were saying that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson's trip to Moscow next week is still on. They still plan on addressing with the Putin regime, partnering in areas where the United States can benefit. He's meeting with his counterpart, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. All of that still in the works as the U.S., despite the harsh rhetoric that we've heard over the last couple of days, is moving forward with meeting with the Russian counterparts and Russian government. We're also getting some international reaction to all this, Shep. We've just gotten a statement from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has publicly been very supportive of President Trump, and before he was elected President-elect Trump, or after he was elected President-elect Trump, saying, quote, "In both word and action, President Trump sent a strong and clear message today that the use and spread of chemical weapons will not be tolerated. Israel fully supports President Trump's decision and hopes that this message of resolve in the face of the Assad regime's horrific actions will resonate not only in Damascus, but in Tehran, Pyongyang, and elsewhere." And that's another part to this, Shep. When you talk about sort of the odd juxtaposition with the president of China, Xi Jinping, coming here, meeting with President Trump, and then all the rhetoric and language in the airstrike focused on Russia, focused on the Assad regime, this is all while the Trump administration is trying to get China to pressure North Korea to halt its weapons development program, its nuclear program, its missile program. A couple of days ago, North Korea launched another missile. So this is all about, on one hand, getting Russia to pressure the Assad regime, on the other hand, getting China to pressure its ally, North Korea. As two ends of the globe here, aggression continues on both sides, Shep.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it, live from the State Department tonight.